More broadly, what I would say is we are at yet another inflection point right now, I think. And this is really for the people and government of Kosovo to decide, not the international community. I think the international community has been pretty clear what we want to see. We want to see Kosovo advance on its European and Euro-Atlantic trajectory. We've laid out the means to achieve that. We do believe the only path to move that forward is through the EU-facilitated dialogue. So while there are a lot of Ds, let me make that a very large capital D. And we hope to see renewed and re-energized efforts within that context to move forward. Now, I'm well aware of concerns by some that since this is a two-part dialogue, the EU facilitates it, and it's Kosovo and Serbia, that in so doing and in so saying, there are concerns by some that Serbia will use it or exploit the opportunity or exploit the circumstance to further delay or postpone or impede Kosovo's progress. And I would not challenge that as a possibility in this process. But all I can say is the best strategy in such a circumstance is for Kosovo to do all that it can to show continuous goodwill, continuous creativity, continuous energy, continuous commitment and implementation of obligations it has already entered into, which will help move this process forward. I too would very much see it. I believe it possible. The United States doesn't get a voice in who gets to be an EU candidate and who gets to exceed and what the process is. It's already a little ambitious since we're in 2024 to be in by 2030. You guys usually take longer. But we would love to see that path well underway. And certainly on the NATO side, we certainly have a role and we want to advance it. But we need Kosovo to help us help Kosovo. We need the best possible arguments. We want to avoid circumstances where we talk about how our ability to be effective advocates is negatively affected. So as I said, I think we're at an inflection point here. And my hope is that the government's going to listen to some of the advice we've been giving that allows us to be more effective advocates. It may be somewhat moribund in terms of where it is, but an enormous achievement was reached last year with the basic agreement and then the implementation annex. And each country could, if it chose to do so, show the political will and courage to start implementing their obligations and thus create a very different dynamic for the country in question. So there's nothing stopping that from happening.